Hey guys, I'm Mackenzie and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be taking you through how I dyed and styled this wig for Harley Quinn's new look in the Suicide Squad. Let me give you a 360. Let's do the back. And the back on this side. I'll show you guys how I did all of that. So the base wig for this is a 613 Platinum Blonde human hair wig. It's full lace, which is most important. It's lace all the way back. You can see it's lace here, so it looks realistic with the part. So the process for this wig was a little bit dramatic. I bought a wig on AliExpress that was 22 inches, and wigs I've bought in the past from other sellers when they were 22 inches have come out this long. I mean, look at how long this is. But turns out the sellers who I've bought from before have just been selling me extra long wigs for the price of shorter wigs, which has been great, but I was in for a rude awakening when I ordered this new one at 22 inches and it was like to here. So since I made this whole cosplay in under a week, I was really on a time crunch and had to sacrifice my original Suicide Squad wig, and I dyed the pink side red and the blue side black. I was lucky that the colors for this wig were darker, but it was quite upsetting to have to make that decision. From the beginning, I was having issues with this, and then I ended up having to dye this specific pigtail 4 different times, and I think that was because I wasn't starting with this platinum color. I was starting with pink, which was underneath, because again, it was my Suicide Squad wig. So every time I dyed it, it would either come out too pink or too light, and it was the issue with me using the wrong developers and blah, blah, blah. But I went through all of that so I could get you guys this tutorial and show you how to do it right one time.
My experience, 613 base wigs usually come with a little yellow tint to them, so I like to bleach them to get that platinum color that Harley has. The bleaching process is pretty easy. You just combine 1 part bleach with 2 parts developer. For this I used 30 volume developer. After letting the bleach soak for about 30 minutes and washing it out, this was the final color. General disclaimer, this footage is of my wig that was too short. I realized it after I did the whole dyeing process, so that's great. But moving on to footage from the Suicide Squad wig re-dye, here's a look at the black dye that I used for blue pigtail side. I mixed the dye with developer and then applied it directly to the blue pigtail. I first started applying the dye by painting it on with a brush, and then eventually started working it through with my fingers in these gloves. The color even started to develop while I was still working on the application process. To make sure the color was jet black, I let it sit for 30 minutes and wrapped it in tinfoil to help the development process. The last step was to carefully rinse out the dye, which took forever and a ton of shampoo and conditioners, but eventually came out. Here's a look at the 2 colors I combined for the red side. So this was the pigtail that I had to dye 4 separate times because I accidentally used 30 volume developer instead of 10 volume, which kept lightening it and turning the color pink at the end. What I would ultimately recommend is using the full tube of the red dye and then sprinkling in a little bit of the garnet just to give it a deeper red, and 10 volume developer instead. Okay, now onto the styling. So the first thing I did was just brush out each side of the pigtail, making sure to keep the 2 colors separate, and then went through and straightened a bunch of different sections of the hair to make sure it was absolutely straight. The style I'm going to be doing is a double pigtail look, so I'm just pulling the top part back, making sure it's smooth, and then using a clear elastic to hold it in place. With the smaller pigtail in place, I'm just brushing the bottom to collect all of the hair and putting in the bottom pigtail with a thick black elastic. And then just follow the same process on the opposite side. The last step was to style and cut the bangs, so I just brushed them through, separated them down the middle, then straightened them and sprayed it in place and trimmed them to about chin length. And here is a look at the final wig after styling.
Okay, well that wraps up everything for the wig. Thank you guys so much for watching, and let me know if you have any questions in the comments below. But otherwise, don't forget to like and subscribe and come back for more cosplay content.